What is up, Rad Potential YouTube? Welcome to today's video. I'm Mr. Rad. In the last Buzz Lightyear RX8 video, we broke the eBay $142 turbo. And as much as I think just some ginormous ignition backfire cooked this thing, upon further inspection, there's a lot of heat inside of this turbo that definitely probably contributed to its premature exiting the chat. So I have replaced it. We can throw the eBay Garrett turbo away. Literally. Nailed it. And I have a major upgrade for Buzz the RX8. In this box is one pair of Mazda RX8 seats. So the entire build, I've been keeping track of the cost of this car in pairs of RX8 seats you can buy. So hop on the internet, figure out how much a pair of seats trades for, because that's what I paid for this car. So this is a whole pair of seats, literally in here. I can lift it with one hand. This is going to be a major improvement for the RX8. This is a VS Racing Garrett 2.0, okay? The Gair, G-A-I-R, it 2.0 turbo. So this is a like 63, 67 or something like that. I don't really know the exact number of it. I ordered it a while ago. Either way, it is a T3 flange. We have an upgrade now for a V-band on the back. It's still an 82 AR back housing, so it's the same as the other one, so it should spool pretty quick. And this is a really trick looking piece. Check this out. The Garrett 2.0 turbo upgrade for the RX8. So the previous turbo was a water-cooled turbo, but I didn't have any water cooling hooked up to it. In addition, I ran a restricted oil feed line. So my guess is the combination of it not getting enough oil plus extreme pressure backfire plus extreme oil starvation plus extremely hot rotary engine temperatures plus me being a jabroni and just sending it on an untuned car plus the fact that I honestly didn't really care about it plus the fact that it was only one seat of the RX8 seats invested. All of that yielded failure, and we are coming back with a vengeance. And probably the turbo I should have bought the first time, but it would have really sucked if I'd have like treated this turbo like I treated that turbo, and then I'd have been just like throwing a whole entire pair of seats out the window. So this should pretty much go right on. The turbo drain's the same, and I do have water lines to hook up to this, so we're going to water cool the turbo, and we're going to drill a hole in the restrictor. So let's get to installing the Garrett 2.0 on the RX8, which is currently still running, but it would just spit fire and flames out of the turbo manifold. So the engine's not broken, guys. I'm betting that this thing is going to last way longer than you think, and you should drop in the comments below on what you think I'm going to break next with this big spoolie boy, because this is honestly just about as big as what I've got on the RX7 over here. So we're just not even going to be close to using any of its potential. Just throw any sort of compressor curve optimization out the window. This is all about fun and hood flames. That's literally it. Fun, hood flames, cheap RX8, which is a recipe for just extreme Mr. Rad smiles and rally driving in his yard. I need to retrieve something from the trash. See, I actually threw the turbo away whenever I said I threw it away. So let me pull the turbo oil feed fitting off of here. This is the turbo oil feed fitting. All right, cute little guy, my dirty fingers. It has literally the smallest hole you could ever think of in there. I don't know if y'all can see daylight through that. It's tiny. It's probably a 1 mil hole. Well, I did some research and listened to a bunch of stuff that the guy who owns like Zona Rotor Turbo, he has a bunch of information on basically just turbo stuff. So I went and read and listened and all that deals. And for a journal bearing turbo like this, we need water cooling, especially if we're going to run it hard. And we also just need to like fully max out a -4 AN line worth of oil. He's like, the turbo will take the oil. You just need to upgrade the drain if it starts to smoke or you're pushing seals. So we've got a -10 drain. It's giant. We're going to drill a giant hole in this, basically the same size as the bottom of it, such to massively feed the Garrett 2.0. See, this is just the old Garrett 1.0 with all of the oil that we can get. Let's see. Shot in the dark. Do we make it again? Nope. Just completely destroyed my bench grinder and the welder. But hey, we don't need that anymore. Let's drill a hole in this. Now we can see straight through it, ready to rock. Well, this V-band is going to complicate this exhaust setup a little bit and probably going to melt more of my ECU box. So we'll have to do some modifications. Just like that. Just break melted plastic off. Time to do some cutting, that's for sure. It's a little bit lower, but whatever, doesn't matter. Once the flames are coming out, no one's gonna care about my ghastly exhaust hood exit fitment. We just need like a sweet little plasma cut little plate right here with a little teardrop that says like Buzz Lightyear RX8. Check out that fine piece of turbo machinery right there, guys. I wish that the compressor side was like a little more polished. The eBay turbo honestly like looked a little bit better. Let's just compare them. So we've got, you know, Garrett 1.0 versus Garrett 2.0 in there. So honestly, like the finish, you know, of the old one kind of fit a little nicer, but the casting looks a little bit lighter weight for sure. You know, we're all about lightweight here on Buzz, the RX8. So this one though is still junk. 2 for 3 in the video. So I got to put the battery back in it. Get this thing on this nice little battery tray that we made back here. Definitely still far enough away from the exhaust. Like everyone's worried about melting the battery. Look at this. I can put my hand in there. Got plenty of space. Just remember, the yellow RX8, POS for positive. Get all this back on here. And this thing should be ready to fire up. But there is one thing that stands between taking this car and driving it again, is that we have other cars in the way. And I have a track day this weekend. So we're going to take the green car, we got to back it out, put it in the trailer. It's been uncannonballed. So the green RX8, the green machine, the graphics are back on the side. We've got the stripe down the side, the 818 back on there. I didn't have a 2-foot diameter rad potential logo. I just had an 18-inch diameter one. So, you know, it's a little small, but that's okay. I went and I actually polished the hood, guys. Like compound polished the hood because there was like some fade marks from my rad potential graphic in the paint. So we got some of that out. This side, the actual number is different, but you'll never see both sides at once. So disregard my variation of font. If you watched the last video about the RX7, this thing is pretty much ready to shred. So we did an alignment on it this week. Just checked over everything. My tape measure alignment was pretty much spot on, guys. I was like a couple tenths of a degree out on my caster from side to side. One was a little different. We corrected that. The catch can seems to be working. We got the front splitter on there. No air dam yet. So I'm excited for that. If you're interested in splitter brackets for your first generation RX7, drop it in the comments below. We're getting ready to fire up the whole plasma table and start cutting some stuff out. I've been working with the Patreon guys. We have a nice game plan for how we're going to start, you know, delivering parts to you guys. But like I said, I got to get this stuff moved out of the way. We got to get it loaded up. And ultimately, that means that you guys get to hear the most rowdy sounding rotary car here at the Rad Ranch, which is the rally car, because it has to come out of the trailer so that we can put the other cars in the trailer and head to Bowling Green for a track day. RX8 versus RX8 showdown. The Shinka RX8 with Matt and the green RX8 with Calvin, father versus son showdown. Get excited for that video, and then just me out there whooping up on Porsches in my RX-7. But let's fire up the rally car, back it out. We got to move the RX-8 out. We got to pull the RX-7 out, put the RX-7 in the trailer, put the RX-8 in the trailer, put the yellow car on the lift, and then put the rally car, I guess, where the green car's sitting. Let's get to work. This car is so sick. Oh, and we got power, plenty of voltage. What, probably 10 pumps? We're gonna have to crank it long enough to build oil pressure such that it makes the fuel pump turn on, because when you're racing old carbureted cars and you crash, you don't want your fuel pump to spray fuel in the engine bay and then burn your car to the ground. It's a good safety feature to have. Or if you're impatient, I'm gonna jumper the fuel pump connection so that it runs. Now we got fuel pressure. Almost. Gotta love Weber cold starts. Pissed off rotary rally car. So sick. Y'all didn't follow along with our rally season this year, go check out the videos. It was super rad. We had a ton of fun. It's a good time. Green RX8 starts every time. 100 PSI compression. Take that. This thing looks pretty nice. Look at that polished up hood, stripes back on it. Just need to get rid of those dumb stock wheels. Firing up the yellow RX8 after it's had a little bit of a hibernation, but we've got the new turbo on now. We know we're getting proper oiling to the turbo. We now have coolant to the turbo. This thing should just fire right up. Gosh dang, that rally car is loud, isn't it? Look at the radio. Fixed. Here we go. It's an RX8. It starts every time. All right, let's pull this one out because all my cars are running at the same time, which is, I guess I could just go get the rotary truck too and pull it out there. So this thing's gonna be smoky because obviously the other turbo completely took a dump, so it's gotta burn off all the oil that was inside the exhaust. Listen to all my cars run at the same time. How about the Gangster 17s on the yellow car? I'm wearing a yellow shirt in my orange car. Sick. Cars run and drive at the same time. That's something that most people probably can't say. What do you think, Letty? It's a full party out here. It's like, is it still on? I can feel it vibrating, so it's running. Is it still on? I can feel it vibrating, so it must be running. so it must be running. Is it still on? It's smoking. I guess it's got to be on. What a sight to behold. Okay. Yellow car back on the lift, but I got to sweep the floor first. I'll tell you, the person around here who has the easiest life is definitely the dog. What are you doing, dog? Chilling in the sun? Huh? You just chilling out here in the sun? If YouTube had a pet the dog button, maybe we'll make that the like button. The more likes on the video, the more dog pets in the next video. You having fun, getting some sun? This is what's crazy. Since we moved up here to the ranch, her tail has turned white. It's like a way lighter color than the rest of her. She chills in the sun too much, just being lazy, hanging around. Cars are loaded up. I got the Jenny running up there because my trailer battery was pretty much dead. It didn't want to jack up the lift. So this is what 2 cars in a 2-car trailer feels and looks like. It's a little tight. One thing that kind of sucks about running a big splitter on the front of your car is strapping your car down around the splitter is kind of annoying, especially kind of just have one side that you have to suffer on. So this strap's going to be like up under the splitter, which kind of sucks. I could try to move the car back a little bit, but then I run out of space out the back. So I'm telling y'all, if you're going to ever buy a trailer and you're going to get an enclosed trailer and you have any inkling of hauling 2 cars and you can store a big trailer, it's totally worth it because it's not that much more expensive to get a 2-car trailer over a 1-car trailer. And honestly, like the truck that I have is not that crazy of a truck. So it's just an old 03 Duramax stick shift. Not tuned, not anything, just stock. But now that we've got these out of the way, I'm gonna get those strapped down and we're gonna put a blow-off valve on the yellow car and see if it makes whooshy whooshy noises and puts more smiles on her face. So there's a perfect spot in the front couplers for me to just add an extra clamp and clamp in tons of blow-off valve action. So this is what I call the intercooler pipes, but also the intercooler clamps. Less tubes, more tubes, rubber tubes. So everything's just, you know, it's the super Amazon special clamper 9000. That's what we got going on here. Just like the bumper melter 9000, the clamper 9000. This is going to be our blow-off valve of choice. This looks like a Chinesium HKS SQV, mainly because it doesn't say HKS on it anywhere. It just says SQV in a bunch of places where it would have said HKS. Sequential blow-off valve. Pachoo, pachoo. Actually looks like a little airplane engine inside there. It's got a really sweet looking purple thing. So I'm going to be putting this deal in place of that straight pipe up there. Hopefully it's long enough. It obviously doesn't have any bead rolls. We're not making enough boost to necessarily need to bead roll any of this. We're just 3 PSI, enough for flames and fun. That's all we want. Flames, fun, yellow RX8s. I need like a Lara Croft Tomb Raider Milwaukee M12 quick release battery backpack for like fast reload. The tube's only about a ½ an inch too short compared to the one that I had like physically actually cut to fit in this location. Tight like a tiger. So here's what we got, a very exposed, ready to get completely smashed off by any sort of dumb rallying that I do, clamped up intercooler tube with a psh psh. Now we have a blow-off valve. So we're gonna run a vacuum line up to a T up here so we can activate it, and then we'll let's fire this thing up and rev it once or twice and see if it explodes the turbo instantly again. I think next on the list of upgrades for this is giant skid plate, because I've been working on something outside. Big earth moving project, because we need a place to test the rally cars and just test cars in general. So we're working on something. I've been cranking out the dirt work. But if we're going to drive an RX8 on it, that means it's going to destroy everything up in the front of the bumper. As you saw from the last video, my touring front lip is like completely roached. So I think I'm just going to put this thing all the way underground. Let's just do that. It's an RX8. it always starts. Alright, well, it didn't go like I wanted it to, but we are only making 3 pounds of boost on the gate whenever I rev it up like that. And that blow-off valve could require just a little bit more boost to like activate per se. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, I want to take all of your guys' advice, or at least some of your guys' advice in this video, and I'm not going to go and thrash on the car, much to what you guys want to see, which is like turbo RX8 flames, which is what I want to see. We're going to take it slow. After the track day, I'm going to spend some time and tune this thing. Next week, we've got Matt versus Calvin RX8 showdown. RX7 at the racetrack does it, obviously just survive. It's only its 4th track day. So with move-in and rally and all the other stuff, I didn't really go to the track. I haven't been to the track in over a year since, I guess we went to Summit Motorsports Park in West Virginia with the Gears and Gasoline guys earlier in the year, but haven't been to Corvette Museum, which is like, it's the home track. We got to go. We got to go and see if we can get the RX7 into the 220s. So my fastest lap time was a 2:31. We need to get that down in the 220s. The green car's fastest lap with me behind the wheel is a 2:29, I believe, or maybe a 2:27. I feel like it's a 2:29, but it's under the 2:30 mark. So that's real fast for stock RX8. I'm pretty stoked, but the RX7 should smoke it. We just have been teething. So with that, sorry, I'm not going to go rip the yellow RX8 and potentially blow up my pair of seats cost turbo. And we're going to actually spend some time and I will tune it. And in the next video about the yellow RX8, we're going to learn all about MAF scaling, tuning the stock ECU. And I'm going to just try to figure all that out. Because once I get it ready to go to the dyno, then we take it to the dyno. In addition, next week, the 4-rotor FD is going on the dyno. And also, 7 stock is coming up. So if you're one of the West Coast guys, I will be at 7 stock with the RX7 and the 4-rotor FD. So get fired up for a trip out west, meeting up with some friends in like Arizona, New Mexico, kind of going to do a little cruise shot in there, hang out with everybody on the West Coast for a week or so before we head back across the country. It should be super fun, and I cannot be more excited for just the future. The future is going to be awesome. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. You guys know the deal. Live a life you don't need a vacation from. Keep it rad. Dang. I'm pumped that it's just mobile again. Like, it drives, it moves around with its own power, and it's not just sitting where the rally car was sitting. You know, in addition, I know I kind of showed this engine bay off in the last one, but this car has been getting like a pretty much every nut and bolt in the engine bay overhaul with some custom bits. So get excited for the right-hand drive FD. It's going to make an appearance in a future video, but it's going to be the video that is like everything. So we stripped the engine bay, repainted the engine bay. I built a new engine for this. We did a new harness for this. This has been basically a full engine overhaul of an FD-RX7, including the IC7 dash on the inside. So some custom dashboard work in there as well. But get fired up for that project, rally car project, track day project. We're just fired up, just super fired up. And go check out the Patreon. Patreon's cool. Merch, Patreon. Peace.